All right, man, here it is, the May 20th, Bloop and a Blast MLB DFS breakdown. We have a 4-game slate tonight, and believe it or not, I'm going to be staying away from Dunedin. I'm going to be staying away from Boston and Toronto. The Red Sox stack did get us in the winning, not the winning lineup, but did have our lineup cash last night, so that 5-man stack worked out in our favor. I'm going to be staying away from it tonight for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Red Sox are better as a team against righties, and they're going up against Steven Matz tonight. The Blue Jays going up against Nick Pivetta, who's been worse against lefties, but they don't have too many lefties, maybe 2 lefties in their lineup, Kevin Biggio and Rowdy Tellez. So going to be staying away from that just for those reasons, although with that ballpark, we can still see home runs any given night. So let's start with my favorite stack today. My favorite stack is going to be the Marlins, actually, going up against Vince Velasquez, who has a 231 BABIP, batting average on balls in play. That's going to come up. If we take a look at his numbers here, the 231 BABIP this year is going to look more like these numbers over the course of his career, averages somewhere around 300, a little bit high last year, but it's certainly not going to stay at 231. And when you take a look at the balls that are being hit, it actually doesn't make sense that the BABIP is so low. 15% barrel percentage, higher than league average, also highest of his career. 47.2 hard hit percentage, also the highest number you see posted here. So something has to give here. The balls are being hit hard. But it's not translating to guys getting on base. When looking for an explanation as to why some of these balls are getting hard, the only thing I can come up with, so he's still throwing his fastball 51% of the time. The fastball velocity is down a little bit from last season, but it's down a lot from when he actually entered into the league, almost 2 miles an hour now. But his changeup velocity is interestingly increased now, and it's at 89, starting at 87. But you can see there's only a 4.5 mile an hour difference between fastball and changeup, and he's using a combination of these pitches almost 70% of the time. So 4 miles an hour is enough to make a difference, yes, but when you think about an elite changeup, the speed differential somewhere around 10 miles an hour. So it's just a little bit interesting. I think the Marlins are in a good spot here. The Marlins have some serious power on their team. They're actually not a bad offensive team overall, especially some of these guys here at the top. You have Jazz with a 241 ISO against righties. Jesus Aguilar, who, he's been our play of the day before. The guy loves having fun, and he crushes baseballs over at first base. Adam Duvall with a 192 ISO. This 3-headed monster right here is a pretty good start to a 5-man stack against a righty who's been prone to giving up hard hit balls so far this season. So I like that matchup there in terms of the Marlins being the stack to go with. There are no pitchers $10,000 or more on the slate tonight. It is, again, only a 4-game slate. My favorite pitcher on the slate, Sandy Alcantara, $9,300. Aside from his last start where he went 1.1 innings, gave up 8 runs against the Dodgers, he got shelled, didn't make it out of the second. He just had one of those starts that everybody pretty much is susceptible to, at least at some point. Aside from that, he's got a 2.93 expected ERA. So taking the other games into consideration, the 4.0 ERA is pretty inflated because of his last outing. But before that, his last 3 games before that, his fantasy points, he had 21, 19, 20 fantasy points in the 3 previous games, respectively. So he's in a really good matchup here. His Ks per 9 are, he's averaging around a K an inning that he's out there, which is good. And he's going up against the Phillies today, who, of their projected lineup, 5 of the 8 hitters strike out above league average, and that doesn't even count the pitcher. So he's in a really good matchup here to get maybe some elevated strikeout numbers than what he's used to, which could put him in a pretty good spot here. So I like a Marlins 5-man stack, and I like the pitcher for the Marlins as well. Typically not something I do, but on a 4-game slate, your hands are tied a little bit, especially when you're looking at something like that. So last thing to cover, my favorite play on the slate, Will Smith, my favorite solo shot, $4,600 at catcher, going up against the righty tonight, and he just absolutely mashes right-handed pitchers. He's 3rd on the team in extra base hits against righties so far, only behind Max Muncy and Mookie Betts. So that's pretty elite. And he's got a 254 ISO against righties, a 174 WRC plus. The guy's just getting it done at the plate. One of the best hitting catchers in the league. And $4,600 is a little bit high, but I'm not worried about salary for a couple of reasons. Like I mentioned, there's no pitcher over 10K. The Marlins stack, Jesus Aguilar, 4,300, Jazz Chisholm, 4,400, Adam Duvall, 3,900. So it's absolutely doable to get a Marlins stack, a Will Smith from the Dodgers, maybe even, make that a part of a mini stack, a 5-2, a 5-3, whatever you want to run. And then you can still get to some decent pitchers because nobody's too expensive either. So if you guys are playing on this 4-game slate, take some of those things into account. Hopefully we get some winning lineups tonight, and we'll see you on Twitter. Thank you so much for the support. Follow us on socials at SpoFiHQ and subscribe to the YouTube channel.